We hit 1,100 subscribers, and I can't thank you guys enough. Faster than I expected. You know, the channel was started maybe 7 or 8 months ago, and I did not expect to be at 1,100 before the end of the year. So I can't thank you guys enough. Let's just keep going. We're only about, 99,000 short of 100,000. So I think that's a good goal. Yeah, let's just go for 2,000. How's that? We'll take it from there. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. It's more than a number. It's the information, the comments, the interaction. I've learned so much, and I know other people in the comment section have learned quite a bit from each other. Hopefully, I've enlightened a few people on some things about America. And 95% of my subscribers do not live in America. So it's an interesting concept that, people watching this channel are not American. They're generally European, and it's nice to learn, about everyone's country and culture, and rather than just, through hearsay. So anyway, can't thank you guys enough. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, just hit it. You'll like it. You'll like the channel. We're going to go basically just check out everywhere in Europe. And the whole idea is that my wife and I plan on doing some traveling, quite a bit of traveling actually, when we go into soft retirement and into retirement in the future. And we've never been to Europe, so we're just trying to learn as much as we can about different countries, different cities, different cultures before we get on a plane. All right, enough jibber jabber. Let's see what we get for 8,700 euros a month in northern Spain.
So how much does it cost to live in northern Spain? Today, we're going to hang out with Toby and Lindsay, a couple who did my Move to Spain masterclass and a couple of years ago moved to Getxo, this town here, which is near Bilbao in northern Spain.
If you're not familiar with this channel, this gentleman moved to Spain maybe 13 years ago, 14 years ago. He is married to a Spanish lady, and he has a company where he helps people integrate into Spain. So become, they come from America or Canada or wherever, and he basically helps them figure out how to go through all the hoops. So check out his website and check out his YouTube channel. Without creators like this, people like me couldn't react to these videos and couldn't learn about this stuff. So show him some love.
They moved with their 2 boys, aged 12 and 14, and they're spending about 8,700 euros for their lifestyle. And they're going to generously take us line by line through their budget, and they're going to show us exactly what kind of lifestyle they're getting for the money they're spending. Plus, they're going to give us a tour of their beautiful penthouse apartment, which has views of the sea. All right, let's go and meet them and get into it. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for agreeing to do this. Opening your book for your books, your account books for everyone, because I think it gives people a great insight into what, life in Spain costs, and, the idea of what life in Spain is like. So I thought it might be nice to start off and just, very briefly, like, Lindsay, when did you guys move here? Where did you move from? Fill us in a little bit.
So we're from Mountain View, California, and we moved here about 2.5 years ago, 2.25 years ago.
Yeah.
In 20.
All right. So she's from California, or they're from California. And California, if you're not familiar with America, is one of the most expensive states in the country. California has a pretty bad reputation for homelessness and poverty. And then also you have people that are extremely wealthy. And the problem there is real estate. It's location, location, location. California has a fantastic climate. They're one of the largest states in the country, and it's all coastal. So you have, the Pacific Ocean is basically the whole state is on the Pacific Ocean. So we don't need to get into homelessness and politics and all that, but it's a very liberal state. It's always been a liberal state, and they allow A lot of things that other states don't allow, and it's become a real problem. So you basically in California, you're having a kind of a class problem between the rich and the poor, which doesn't happen as near as much in other states. So long story short, they're going to have some money, and obviously moving from California, they're probably saving quite a bit of money. You know, depending on exactly where they lived in California, a normal 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom home with 2 or 3 bathrooms with a yard could easily be $1 to $3 million without being on the ocean or anything. Just depends on where they're located. If you're in a good school district, that kind of thing, you're definitely over $1 million on just about any piece of property that's detached from, you know, it's not a condominium or an apartment. That's just a little insight on California. So it makes a little bit more sense. If you were moving from Idaho or Iowa or something, it probably wouldn't be near the difference.
2022, right? Summer.
What motivated the move?
Well, Lindsay asked if I wanted to live abroad for a while, and it was just sort of a general question. And okay, well, what's the motivation? Work on our Spanish and just shake up our lives. And
Has it been successful in shaking up your lives?
absolutely, it's fantastic. A lot of new things going on.
Did you know about the Basque country, Bilbao, when you decided to move here, or was that part of the discovery process?
It was part of the discovery. We did a road trip around Spain, which is a fantastic way to see any country.
Yeah.
We drove from Barcelona to San Sebastian to Madrid and fell in love with Basque country right away.
So the first line we've got is groceries, like food and toiletries, and you've put your monthly cost. Obviously, all these costs are going to be for, you know, a family of 2 adults and one teenage and one almost teenage boy, right? 2 boys.
Two growing boys.
2 growing boys, exactly. Yeah. So we have that context. So you've put €1,000. Tell us where you're buying your food and what does that look like? You know.
There are many supermarkets around, including one directly under the building, which is great for, you know, on the way home, pick up a few things for dinner. And about 20 minutes away by car, we have a Costco.
Oh, a Costco. Okay. There are a few Costco. I've never been to a Costco, but
If you haven't been to a Costco, you don't know what you're missing. I don't know what Costco's are like in Europe, but in America, oh boy. Think of the biggest grocery store you've ever been to in Europe. Multiply it by maybe 8 times and basically buy anything from tires for your car to $200 bottles of champagne to $10,000 earrings. It's a warehouse. It's a club. You have to have a membership in America. And everything's kind of sold in bulk per se. So if you're buying soda, Coca-Cola, it comes in a 35 pack of cans. If you're buying water, it comes in a 40 pack of bottled water. So 40, I guess what are they, half liter? Yeah. So you get 40 half-liter bottles in a pack. Now, why we have half-liter bottles in America when we're on the imperial system is beyond me, because it's 16.9 ounces, which makes no sense at all. I haven't figured that out yet. They sell Coca-Cola in 2-liter bottles, but when you get gas, it's in gallons. When you buy milk, it's in gallons or half gallons. We're pretty mixed up. Anyway. So Costco's this big warehouse club. You pay like $60 or $70 a year for membership, and you get discounts. It's basically the cheapest place to buy a lot of different things. I bought all of my televisions from there. I bought my laptop from there. They have incredible sales. It's an amazing place. Look online of going to Costco for the first time. It's mind-boggling. It's kind of like Walmart, but nicer and more of a warehouse.
I know there's a few there's one in Madrid, I think. Yeah. So what does that look like? Is it just mainly like Americans shopping there, or are there Spaniards, or?
I think it feels just like American Costco, but with more European products. And they definitely have some imported stuff, like peanut butter from the U.S.
You can get your Skippy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's essential.
Do you miss anything from back home that you can't get?
Yeah, a little bit. I think we've really tried hard to just sort of use what's here.
Yeah.
And I know some people just have to have a certain thing, like, oh yeah, like the chunky peanut butter or something.
Yeah.
But generally, we've just adapted to what's here.
Okay, cool. So 1,000 for eating out. 1,000 for groceries a month. Eating out 1,000 as well. So a lot of eating out.
I was going to say 1,000 for groceries isn't that bad, especially for 2 kids, 2 boys. Yeah, as of today, a euro is only $1.05 USD. So value of the euro has either gone down or the value of an American dollar has gone up. It's almost even. I mean, at one time, I think it was $1.50. So yeah, so they're spending $1,050 a month on groceries. That's not bad. But then you find out they're spending 1,000 euros on going out, and that's the difference. I mean, because you can definitely spend 1,000 euros a month on groceries in America. But then another 1,000 going out, that's a lot. But hey, it's their money.
Out obviously happens in Spain. Talk us through that. Like, how often are you eating out? Where are you eating out? What kind of places?
To be clear, that also includes the little trip to the bakery. The kids want a treat. The things they like there, or if they want to grab some chuches or a soda or something like this at the store. It's kind of all the food out.
Wow, those Danishes were like $3 a piece. Is that right?
The little trip to the bakery. The kids want a treat. The things they like there, or if they want to grab some chuches.
That seems expensive to me. Is that not expensive? And do the prices vary dramatically in different regions in Spain? Let me know. And why do you guys use commas for periods? I know that it's easy enough to figure out, except for like in America, like a million would be 1, 000, 000, 000, and then let's say it was $1 million and 78 cents. It'd be 1, 000, 000, 000.78. It's a decibel. It's parts of 100 or parts of 1,000 or parts of 10,000, whatever it is. Doesn't that get a little confusing for you guys? How do you know? Are you using a comma as a decibel too? Like, yeah, obviously you are. $3 or €3, 3.15 euros. Do you also use commas as place markers for long numbers? Every thousands? That makes sense? Hello? Let me know. I'm curious about that, because that would get a little confusing for me. How do I know when it's really a decimal versus just a placeholder?
Or a soda or something like this at the store. It's kind of all the food out other than grocery.
Okay.
Wow.
So in there, we love to go socialize with friends. Pinchos up here in the north.
Yeah, the local version of tapas.
Sometimes we'll go out for lunch.
Okay.
Like a menú del día.
Yeah.
And that costs anywhere 14.
Is that fish? I'm assuming that's fish, right? And it's just cut in half and then flattened out. I'm not exactly like Mr. 5-star restaurant. I'm a steak and potatoes kind of guy. And then she's going to cut it up at the table. Fancy.
to 17.
Yeah, it's incredibly
euros.
expensive.
Three courses. Your first, your second, your dessert includes the bread and the wine.
Wine or beer if you want it.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll go out to dinner. I have a group of friends who are half expats, half locals. And those tend to be a little bit more expensive because it's not the fixed price little lunch menu. Yeah. It's a dinner menu, or we're sharing dishes and stuff. And so that'll be a little.
So I'd love to talk about property costs. You guys have got your freehold, right? So you bought this apartment, you renovated it. So if you're willing to share, would you share the?
So are we at $8,700 a month plus the cost of the property? And if they're at $8,700 a month in monthly expenses, then I'm sure their property was what, 500,000 to €1 million? So if it doesn't include property costs, then they're at like 12, 13, 14, 15,000 euros a month if they had a mortgage. Done a couple videos on inexpensive properties in Spain. This clearly is not going to be one of them. What percentage of people living in Spain are spending 13, 14, 15,000 euros a month? I mean, that's got to be what, top 5%? Let me know.
What it cost to buy this and what it cost to renovate and kind of what you did.
The price of the house was 600,000.
Okay.
And you know that we bought the house for the Golden Visa investor program to get us to Spain. And then in the remodeling, we've kind of done almost everything here end to end, around 100,000.
Okay.
Which about half of that was in the kitchen.
And for context, those watching at home, at the time of recording, the Golden Visa, where if you spend 500,000 or more on a home, the actual purchase price, not including the taxes, in Spain, you can get a residence permit to live here, about to disappear, we believe. By the time this comes out, maybe it's disappeared. Okay, so the house, 600,000 plus some taxes and fees, and then you spend 100 on the renovation. And you did, from what I can see. I'd love you to give me a tour. Can we have a look around and see kind of how that played out?
Yeah,
let's do that.
Wow, this is super light filled.
This is our salon. It's a quite a big space. We spent a lot of time here. We incorporated the terrace when we remodeled the house.
Okay, so there was a terrace along here.
This is the terrace, and there were doors, and it was kind of hiding this incredible view. So we wanted to incorporate it. All of this.
It's huge. I mean, this is just such a beautiful living space.
Is, well, the other thing is the sofa. Started out here like normal. And then the first Christmas here. We pushed it back to have some more room, and it just kind of stayed there.
It stayed there.
We have a foam football that the kids play football in.
Okay, so this is the football pitch as well.
This is
I see a little kitty. So.
Her name is Sriracha. She's
about
2 months old, maybe.
All right, she's gonna scratch me. Okay, I'll keep away from the cat.
Maybe she'll be sleeping later.
She adopted us recently, so that's another expense to put in the budget.
Yeah, exactly right. I see your football. So tell us about you've gone totally native, right?
Absolutely, we love Athletic Club Bilbao. We go to a bunch of games here in Bilbao. And then our local team is Arenas Club, which is just a few blocks away from here. And then the other local team across the river, Sestao.
And you go as a family to the games? Is that,
Yeah, sometimes we split up, father-son or mother-son, or sometimes just you disappear. Sometimes the girls go out, father-mother. But sometimes the four of us go.
Okay. I see a lot of instruments, your instruments down here. Guitar.
We like making noise, so we've got...
you show me.
A bit of keyboard and synthesizer. This is the Basque instrument, the chalaparta.
Okay.
And my drum from Batucada.
Which these are, obviously the keyboard that you brought, you were into that, but you've learned the drum setup while you're here, or both of you?
I play the chalaparta in a weekly group, and we played on mountaintops and in little neighborhoods up and down here.
Which I feel like is a lesson in how to integrate, right? Get into the local community, do the local things,
absolutely.
Learn something.
So I assume this is going to be a little bit larger than the average home in Spain, just based on pricing so far. What's interesting is that 100,000 to renovate a property really is not a lot of money anymore. So it seems like even if your property is expensive, and 600 is not insane, especially if you're coming from California. Let's just look it up. Where did they say they were from? Mountain View? Median household income in Mountain View, California was almost $200,000 a year. That area is 2 to 3 times the median household income in America. Now, with that comes more expensive everything. Now, the median home price in Mountain View, California is $1.8 million. So, yeah. Very expensive area. So let's say they had a home, that they had for 10 years. They could have made $1 million just on the home. They could have, bought it for $1 million and sold it for $2 million. That's not unrealistic at all. The average is $2 million. The median is 1.8. So yeah. So think about that. If you had a home, just a median home, average home was, let's say, $1.5 to $2 million, and then you move to Spain and buy a $600,000 house and spend $100 to renovate it. I mean, that's a dramatic decrease in expenses. Wow.
The first time I heard the Chalaparta was actually at the athletic club game, and it was over in the corner, and they were playing before the game, and I said, I'm going to learn that. Yeah. And so sometimes we take the Chalaparta down to the plaza down here in the neighborhood and play the Chalaparta there with the locals.
Just here.
Yeah.
Wow. This is... I'm guessing the kitchen wasn't like this when you...
It was not. There was a bedroom here.
Yeah.
And the bathroom connected. And when I saw the space, I thought, well, we'll change it a little bit. Yeah. And I had the idea to remove the bedroom and kind of go with what we have here. So we've got a big island and our eating kitchen and a nice place to cook because I like cooking.
I mean, this is it's a beautiful kitchen. So it's kind of, quote unquote American style, you would say.
People will call it an American kitchen, right?
Yeah, this is what cocina americana.
And the American refrigerator with ice dispenser.
Okay, yeah. We don't see many Spanish houses with.
Yeah, I've noticed that you guys have really tiny refrigerators generally. It's and I guess that a lot of that has to do with the fact that you're just buying fresher food more often. That's like when you go to Costco, if you're buying 3 or 4 different kinds of soda and they come in 35 packs, that's 140 cans of soda you have to deal with. So it's a little bit different, I think. I mean, in our home, we have a refrigerator in the kitchen with a freezer, and that's a little bit smaller than theirs, but bigger than any normal European refrigerator for sure. And then in the garage, we have another one the same size. And then we have a separate freezer the same size. And then we have a beverage refrigerator, which is, kind of tall and narrow. I see these tiny little refrigerators, and I just don't know how you guys do it. But we have other things to worry about. We have natural emergencies. We have a lot of weather things. We get tornadoes and hurricanes and earthquakes and all kinds of stuff. So we always have to have extra food on, in case there's a problem, disruption in the supply chain or whatever. It's interesting to compare countries.
A friend of ours has a little kid and he loves to come over and get ice because it's such a novelty.
It's such a novelty.
And I think there was a run on ice last year with the cost of electricity. So
yeah, do you guys don't use ice as much as we do either, right? Like we fill a glass completely up with ice before we even pour anything in it. We don't at home that much because we just drink out of the can or out of the bottle. But if you go to a restaurant or if you're making a mixed drink or something, we just fill it up with ice. We go through, we probably go through 5 pounds of ice a week, I would think. Something like that.
We always
2 years
had
ago. Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had our ice here.
Can we have a look inside? Like everyone loves a fridge
Right.
tour.
It's a big fridge.
It's yeah. Okay. So you brought your American fridge style. Yeah. You got the ice dispenser and okay.
Yeah, actually, that fridge isn't bigger than ours. You know, that's called a French door. That's what we have. So we have 2 of those, and then we have a freezer that's about the same size that we just keep like extra meat. I eat a lot of steak, a lot of hamburger, trying to cut out carbs. So we store a lot of meat, or counter depth version rather, which is not as deep as a normal American refrigerator, so that it doesn't stick out from the standard cabinet. American cabinets are usually 24 inches deep on the bottom, 12 inches deep on the top. And refrigerators are usually 30 or 36 inches deep. So they make some refrigerators that are only 24 inches deep so that they're flush with the counters. That might be what that is. It doesn't look very deep.
Okay, eggs in the fridge, I see.
Yeah, well...
Not very European.
No, I mean, we know that they can stay out, but we just put them there because that's where we used to keep them in California, and so we just think to go there for the eggs, and that way they're not sitting out on the counters. Yeah.
Hang on, you don't get away that easy.
Okay, I know.
What am I seeing here? I'm impressed.
You like the Basque pepper?
Basque peppers. Yeah. I'm going to call them padron pepper.
Yeah, similar. Around here, they normally say pimientos de Guernica.
De Guernica. So you just fry these a little bit.
Yeah. They're the same as padron.
We have our plates and our cups in drawers, which we've never had before. We've always had them up in cupboards.
In cabinets.
But with these, it didn't work, and these were too high, and this is what they were supposed to. So we actually really like it.
So we have a good collection of spices and a little bit of drinks here.
Oh, here we go, the drinks cabinet.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you want an Aperol Spritz, or maybe, I think you like vermouth?
I have a reputation.
Okay.
What is this?
This are homemade pacharan, which is a Basque drink made with sloe berries.
Slow gin, right?
Slow berries.
Slow berries.
Yeah, it has an anise base, and then it has a bit of vanilla, coffee bean.
So That's
a water bottle.
Okay, yeah. So you made this at 22.
I did, this one too, yeah. It takes, they say, 9 months to age, and this is kind of refilled a few times. But this is my current batch that's...
When do you drink that?
Sitting 9 months. I think it's like a baby. You just have to wait until it's...
so it's not ready yet?
No, this has been some months now. But the berries are from a friend's farm.
The fact is you have light on all sides, on 3 sides of the...
Mm-hmm.
We do. It's the set of buildings is like a triangle, and we're at the end.
Yeah.
So you've got this open terrace here.
And since I was a kid and took my first travels with my family to Europe and saw all the window boxes with all the red geraniums, I finally have red geraniums.
You finally have red geraniums. And they're pretty easy to keep, geraniums, right? They even survive in Madrid.
They are.
All right, let's keep going through. This is the pets room.
The pet room and a bit of hobbies. And this is the extra bedroom, the 4th bedroom.
This is where I'm staying. I'm going to be down with the hamster. Oh, it's a guinea pig.
The guinea pig, yeah, that's Nico.
Is Nico going to bite me?
No, he doesn't bite. He's a little shy, but he won't bite.
Hello, Nico. Okay. Oh, we got the bath. So the bathrooms, you guys redid.
Yeah, fully remodeled both bathrooms. It's fairly simple. I think kind of goes with the theme of the house, which is
I love the
simple
tiles.
and uncluttered and clean.
Yeah. One of the boys' rooms?
Yeah, this is Cooper's room, our teenager. It's quite clean.
14, right?
He's 14 right now, yeah. He's really into football also. We've got the signed jersey that we won at the kids' school auction.
Your room. Okay.
Yeah, so the rooms are getting slightly bigger. It's nice with the morning light. The sunrise is kind of over the hill here. And, it's just, again, really nice and clean and simple. It's not cluttered. It's bright. And
our last room, we can show you where the kids are. Kids, we're coming in. It's been Lego playtime.
Okay, Lego playtime.
kitty cat.
Hey, kids.
The cat's in here.
And the cat's in here. Gonna probably scratch me like you did earlier. Oh, there we go.
She's friendly.
She's
Huh?
play biting at the moment.
She's biting?
Play biting.
Play biting. Okay,
Yes.
that's what they call it these days. And then this leads out to the... Have we been out? This is the other side.
This is the terrace off the kitchen.
That's right. We walked past. Okay, perfect.
it's nice to have some access here to the outside.
You guys drink your coffee out there in the mornings? Is that your colacao?
I think one thing that's helped us here is having less here has allowed us to explore a lot of new things. And not to feel tied to being stuck in the house, like, oh, I have this thing, I have to do this thing, have to use this thing that I have. Instead, we're out on the streets a lot more and socializing.
Okay, well, it's a beautiful place you have here. I mean, I love these incredible views, the light. I mean, it's kind of a dream place for me, and to be honest. The light all around, right? Sometimes the trap or the challenge is getting an apartment in Spain that has this amount of light.
When I came in to see the house, it was quite dark. Curtains and old windows and wood, and things were kind of shut down. I don't know if it's a Spanish way, is just sort of keep things closed and dark, but I kind of saw through a lot of that and sort of had this vision of how the house could be.
Okay.
And we didn't necessarily want to go through a big remodel, but the next best thing we saw was sort of like, 10 years remodel and outdated already and falling apart. And
the process of finding this place, you say, and you got them to knock down the price. So did you have some help with that? How did that go?
We did. You referred us to Natalia. She literally helped us with everything. From when I visited to look at housing, she took me to Bilbao to the extranjería to get my NIE. She took me to the bank. She said, here's my bank. Do you want to use the bank? Okay. Open an account. She introduced me to a real estate agent. And we saw about 10 different places. This is maybe one of the last ones that we saw. And I kind of knew right away that this would be the one.
So you also have some other expenses here. 655 a month, which I believe is comunidad, like the HOA, property insurance, and property tax. So take me through, if you remember, which part of that is the HOA.
The HOA is like a 349 as a regular monthly assessment right now. There's like a special assessment for another 124, but it kind of varies depending on the work being done.
If the elevator needs a repair. Or,
absolutely. That gets a monthly maintenance. We have a portero who mops and cleans in the common areas, as well as taking out the trash if we put it outside the door. And then they recently installed like a small elevator, like a wheelchair lift, because many places around here just have stairs up to the elevator. And so it's really the elevators for convenience of getting to your floor. It's not for handicap. But they put this little lift in, so that was an extra assessment. And of course, while they're working on that, they ran into a problem. Then they have to, increase. And
heating, you said, is included in your.
Absolutely. So this is one thing we don't pay for, is extra for, is the heating, because there's a central boiler for the buildings,
which is getting less and less common in Spain now. That the heating, used to be included in your HOA in buildings, but it was when I first moved to Spain 12 years ago. But more and more now, it's moving to individual payments for apartments. But it's interesting that you've got that still included.
The other two costs are a little bit of insurance,
owner's insurance,
insurance on the house, and there was one more on the list.
Property tax.
Property tax. So that's just under $1,000 per year. Compared to California,
$1,000 a year for property tax is nothing. In my neighborhood, it's anywhere from, I don't know, $2,500 to $10,000 a year. If they're living in Mountain View, California, and they have a house, they're probably paying at least $10,000 a year in property tax. At least. And then they're probably paying another $5,000 to $10,000 a year in insurance. I've never owned an apartment or a condominium, so it's a little uncomfortable for me to think about an organization deciding how much you're going to owe that month. If you get the wrong people in charge, or, what happens when you don't agree with what you're being charged? What happens when the heat goes out for the whole building? I've always, as far as ownership goes, I've only owned regular homes where you're responsible for everything in your own home. You don't have to worry about the building. But if you're comfortable with it, you're comfortable with it. I don't know that I would be that comfortable with it.
It is very little.
Okay, so we've got that. We've got those costs. Next up, electricity and gas. So there's no gas because you've got your heating included and you haven't got gas in the kitchen. So electricity, 118 a month. So that's just running your lights and everything.
Yeah, and that's an average of the past year.
So we've got water, 77, just your water, right? You're not watering a garden, so just...
Not really. Lindsay has those flowers outside, but that's laundry and dishwasher, and that's also hot and cold water.
Okay.
Not including the hot water that runs the radiators, but it's our usage of hot and cold.
So mobile phone and internet, you've got 100 euros a month here. So what have you got? Fiber, 4 mobile phones, TV?
Yeah, we have fiber here. We have now 4 phones, although one kid's not using his, and television service, which is, we don't use that much. I mean, we have streaming otherwise, but as far as just the live TV, so for football or from watching.
It's interesting that I pay less than that for water generally, or maybe around that, but I have a whole yard to water too. But then when you get into TV and internet and cell phones, I mean, we're between, let's see, our internet's 100 a month for 600 megs per second. Our cell phones are 300 a month for unlimited. And then our internet, or our television, and we watch a lot of TV. We have a lot of TVs. We watch a lot of TV. So we have a lot of movie channels and such. That's 300 and something. So they're paying 100 and something, and we're paying 700 and something. That's a big difference. Really big difference.
To learn Spanish.
Yeah.
Watching Un Serie or whatever,
Your internet connection, it's strong.
It's incredibly fast. I think we're, close to the gig speed. There's fiber.
Okay. Does 100 seem like a lot cheaper for that package of things compared to back home?
I think it's a lot cheaper. Yeah, we were paying 90 per line in California for the 2. The kids didn't have phones then.
Yeah.
And then internet on top of that.
Yeah.
And I think we had TV for a while, but canceled it due to streaming. But I mean, going from 250 down to 90 something, 100.
So Hobbies, 800 a month. So talk me through, what is, Lindsay, what's in those 800 euros? You've got kids who are doing things, you guys are doing things.
So I take guitar lessons and I take paddle classes and another exercise class. Yeah. 2 different other exercise classes. So that's been one of the things. Before I was starting to work, I had lots of time during the day to do a lot of exercise classes, which helped me feel good and helped me work on my language, because all of those activities are all in Spanish.
Just briefly, Lindsay mentioned working. For clarity, she's currently working as a private school teacher locally, and Toby has taken some time off work but is looking at starting a business here in Getxo. Remember, the golden visa that they came on includes work permission. Okay, let's get back to their hobbies.
Wow.
What else is in there, Toby? I know you're a musician as well.
A lot of music. I am playing the Chalaparta every week in the class. It's inexpensive.
Yeah.
This one, $10 a month they ask for, like a donation. The drumming is 25 a month. I thrive on learning new things.
Interesting.
So I saw a flyer at a local shop for learn how to crochet.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this is a great thing. Like, I'm interested. I'm curious, and I know it'll be in Spanish.
Yeah.
And so it's like just forced Spanish practice.
Yeah.
And so now I like to crochet.
It shows also people that there's not one way to do something, right? It's like you kind of got to find your way to engage in the community, and you've been taking up, all these local instruments and things like that. And what I noticed, through our house tour, which was wonderful, is, you said you didn't bring a lot of things, and so you've been able to work in what you're discovering in this region into your home, whether it's posters on the wall or pictures or artwork or whatever, right?
And that has led me to giving it a try at San Mamés before the football game.
Yeah.
Playing the Chalaparta on top of a mountain for the mountain climbing club's anniversary.
Yeah.
Just to get out and do things.
Yeah.
I mean, we've just sort of become like, if somebody says they want to do something, okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a yes to everything because there's just adventure all over here.
I like that word yes. It's like when you're in the initial stages of a move, you have to be a yes person. It's like when you start a business, you have to say yes to all possible clients. But you guys, you have to be yes people. Like, do you want to go out? Even if you don't really feel like a little bit, yes. Because you don't know where it's going to go. You got to force it, you know, and get out there. So I think you guys are an example, just in my experience of meeting a lot of people through the masterclass and things like that, that just an incredible example of getting out there, connecting with the local community.
Did you guys see this on his sunglasses? If you look at the next to his ear, that is a bottle opener. I'm pretty sure that's a bottle opener. I've never seen that before. But I don't know what else it could be. Nothing else would be that sharp on a pair of sunglasses.
So coming back to that budget, we've got the 800 for hobbies. What else is there anything else in there?
It also includes like personal trainer.
Yeah, okay.
And so we go out to, well, I'm gonna say clubbing, discoteca.
Yeah, I saw clubbing you wrote here and I was like...
Yeah, I just put this for lack of a better word, but really discoteca, rave, you know, just things out.
Is this like at 3 a.m. you're like raving in Bilbao? Or?
Yeah.
So Saturday he's raving and Sunday he's crocheting. And then Monday he's playing his instruments at the top of a mountain. You got to give it to the guy. He's experiencing life.
Yeah, or all night.
Both of you, or is this just Toby?
Just me.
I like the summer fiestas when everybody's out on the street dancing way too late.
And it's easy to stay out till 6 a.m. at these. Yeah. Especially if it's in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
You don't fight it. You just go along with it.
Well, you can't sleep anyway. I mean, you probably could because of the windows. But you got to stay out.
Right? Just go. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that you're clubbing. I can't. Yeah. I feel.
Well, you know,
I feel very old suddenly.
Rave, you know, and that's not like every Saturday night.
So next one we've got a line here is professionals. You know, tax help, legal help, Spanish tutor, $250 a month. So tell us kind of what's in there. You know, we've got very disparate things. You've talked about Spanish, so you've been taking classes.
I think it includes a couple of main things. One is tax preparation, which we deal with in California. Yeah. This is like $1,000 to $1,200 per year. Yeah. For somebody to deal with all of that.
Because you remain tax residents of the States because for citizens.
For now, we're going to
you might do an exit in the future?
Well, not official, but California is a sticky state where, I mean, this is probably some good advice if you're moving abroad for good or a time, exit one of those 5 or something states.
And do you think it's something that people should,
California's a mess. It really is a mess. Let's just look at their taxes. If you didn't know, there's federal taxes, income tax in America. Standard income tax like you have in Europe, or at least most countries in Europe. And it varies depending on your income and all that. Obviously, Americans pay a lot less in taxes than most European countries because we don't have universal health care. So we pay less in taxes, and then the people are expected to pay more of their own personal expenses, including healthcare insurance, etc. But then the states have their own taxes as well. Some states don't have any income tax, and some states have an insane amount of taxes. Let's see what California is. Yeah, see, in California, their income tax ranges from 1% to 12%. And then the sales tax ranges from 7 to 11%. So if you live in California, you're going to pay federal income tax. You're going to pay state income tax. And then your sales tax rate is higher than average. So that's on everything you buy. That's equivalent to your VAT. So it is quite expensive to live in California, no matter how much money you make, because the real estate's very expensive and the taxes are insane. Probably should have moved out of California before they moved to Spain. But I got a feeling they have a lot more money than I do, so they know what they're doing.
There's a lot of fear around moving to Spain because of tax. People know that maybe the cost of living is going to go down or can go down. Do you think it's fair enough to have this sort of tax fear, or is it not as big a deal or just depends?
The taxes are higher here in Basque
I think
country.
a little bit higher, but there's of course a treaty.
What's that?
There's a treaty, right? So you're not going to pay double the taxes in the two
US,
countries.
Spain, yes, you don't pay double tax.
I think also, like I said, we're still figuring it out, so I don't know. Even if we have to pay more here, I think with the lifestyle that we've established, even if it ends up being more, like we don't know, even if it ends up being more, I think it's worth it.
And you've offset some with the cost of living. I mean, even your property tax is a lot less, for example.
I think so too.
Moving right down, we've got entertainment, 436. Streaming subs, you've put...
It's not even close. I mean, if they were in a medium household or higher in California, no matter how much they pay in taxes, it doesn't matter. Because they went from a $2 million house to a $700,000 house. That's a huge difference. And then their insurance would be probably 75% less. Their property taxes are probably 75% less. So even if their income tax went up, even if their income tax doubled, it would still be cheaper. Generally.
Athletic club matches, clubbing, Guggenheim Museum membership.
We started going to all of the matches at the athletic club stadium.
The football matches.
Yep. And that's been super fun. That was a good motivational thing for our older son, especially, because he loved going to those matches.
You had here also the Guggenheim. You had an annual membership to the Guggenheim. So how's that? Have you guys been going regularly, or
during different periods? We either go a lot more or less, but we take all of our visitors there because that's one of the big tourist attractions here in Bilbao. But then also they offer membership like classes and tours, like a tour of the exhibition. Their yoga. We've done yoga in the museum.
The Guggenheim.
The Guggenheim.
Yeah, it was fun.
One time. It was super fun.
Transportation. First of all, there's public transport, right? So using public transport to get around, and how is that here?
So we take the metro a good amount, a lot more when we're going into Bilbao.
How long is that from here if you're going on the metro?
18 minutes.
Okay, so super close.
But it's only... Is it 50 cents? 70
it's
cents?
It's under 50 cents. And if you're going into Bilbao, they charge like another 8 cents on the way out. So it's like 50 cents to go one way in or out of town. It's nothing.
And so you're using, and I think Toby mentioned you use the bike system, the municipal bike system.
A city e-bike system now. It used to be non-e-bike, but then they switched it all over to e-bike.
Okay.
And it's like 15 cents for half an hour.
Okay.
And so then cheap. It goes up more after that, but your first little thing. I take the bike to work.
You also have a car.
A car is not a necessity here.
Yeah.
The metro is incredible. There are buses, there are trams, etc. You can get anywhere on public transportation, but it takes more time. For us, the car has been a convenience more than anything.
Yeah. Kind of between this and the next one, travel in Europe.
Yeah, we've been on a ton of adventures.
Which is a big motivator for people to move to Spain. Often it's like the closeness to
everything
Europe.
Feels really close. Like
from the United States.
Yeah. Like we went to Amsterdam for a weekend. We went to Cairo for a week during spring break.
So you're really enjoying this proximity. You're taking advantage of this proximity to Europe.
Cooper went to Geneva on a school trip.
For school.
For school. It's amazing.
Yeah. You think of that growing up in California, right? For me, growing up in New Zealand, we did school trips to the museum, but a school trip to Geneva, that's mind-blowing.
His second week in school, they took a bus trip to France.
Yeah, to France to practice French, but...
I understand what they're saying, but I mean, it was kind of standard in my schools that they took trips to Europe and trips to Russia. But it wasn't a standard trip, I guess, is what they're trying to say, is that the whole class goes. That wasn't the case with us. We took a trip to Washington, D.C. in 8th grade. I think that's kind of an 8th grade passage in America. Go to Washington, D.C., and you go to the White House and you go to the Capitol and the Washington Memorial and all that. But yeah, location matters. It's a lot easier to bounce around Europe if you're in Europe than if you're taking a 14-hour flight.
Yeah. I love it. So there was also a separate line, travel getaways, which kind of overlaps a little bit. You had, for transportation, you had 630, which included all of that. Yeah. Then travel getaways, 1,333. You got some camping and glamping. Obviously, you've done some trips, but the big one that jumped out to me is the 2 round trips to the US. So 4 people, 4 adults.
It's required.
Yeah.
Right? We have to see family.
Grandparents.
Many people have visited us. Yeah, the kids need to see the grandparents. Grandparents need to see the grandkids. It can be close to $6,000 per round trip. And we try to cut it, but you can't really get it for under 5.
Health insurance, 300. So health insurance and dental. So full coverage. Obviously, you needed that for the visa.
Yeah, and the private insurance.
Okay. Have you used it so far?
Yeah, quite a bit.
It's good?
Just regular checkups, little problems. It's really easy.
Really?
The clinics are all around.
Yeah.
And because of the visa requirement,
that's cheap. I'm tired of arguing about universal health care, versus America and everything. I just watched a show. We have a show here called Save My Skin, which is about a dermatologist in the UK. And half the patients that go see her are missing 25% of their teeth in the UK. So I don't understand. I don't understand the universal healthcare thing. Everybody says, oh, it's so great. It's so great. Then I talk to people in the UK and they say, no, it's horrendous. It's terrible. My question is, why don't these people have teeth if it's free or close to free? But anyway, back to the subject. $300 a month for a family of 4 is dirt cheap for healthcare. There's no question about that. Or health insurance. It's about if your employer's not helping you pay for it, the government's not helping you pay for it, like if you're low income or whatever, if you're just an upper middle class family, you're going to pay somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500 a month for good health insurance. A family of 4, good health insurance, $1,000 to $1,500 a month. But a lot of jobs will pay for part of that or even all of that. Most government jobs pay for most of it or all of it. And then if you're low income, the government pays for most of it or all of it. So it's a very misunderstood subject when it comes to America and healthcare. This whole thing where people can't go to the hospital or because they can't afford it, it's nonsense. It's just not true. It's not true. You're poor, you don't even pay for it. And if you're not poor, then you should have saved the money that you saved on your income tax to pay for it. But regardless, 100 million people in America get free or next to free health care.
There's 0 deductible.
Yeah.
And I think we're paying something like 1/10 of the cost of what we paid in California. Yeah. Fortunately, it was covered by a lot of her school.
Okay.
But still, it's a very, very small cost compared to
$3,600 a year.
Yeah.
Full cover health insurance for a family of 4.
Yeah,
it used to be like that every month.
Like $3,000 per month or something.
Just other insurance here. You've got life insurance, $134 for both of you.
We're maintaining that in the U.S.
What's that? Sorry.
We're maintaining that.
Okay, so that's your U.S. one that's included here.
Yeah, I didn't even consider switching it over to here.
Yeah.
I know you wrote something about that.
I have life insurance here since we had our daughter.
You don't switch it. You just add. Leave your American insurance and buy some in Spain. Never get rid of your old insurance. Just add to it.
It's different. I don't know what it's like in the US, but from what I understand, you can't just it's more expensive here. In the States, you can get like a policy for anything for huge amounts of money and not pay a lot. Here, it's more connected to what you own. It's not like people just come up with amounts of money and insure it.
I'm just curious why hers is 1/3 of what mine is.
Yeah, I can't answer that. Clothing and shoes, $433. As you've said here, clothing and shoes for us 4 with 2 growing boys, right? I guess the growing boys are a big chunk there.
Yeah,
right?
Their shoe sizes are between hers and mine now.
Yeah.
Shoes, too, was a big part of the budget, especially initially, because we were all of a sudden walking a whole lot more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we were going through shoes more or trying to find the right shoes more. And
Interesting.
Yeah. So our shoe budget was higher than it used to be in California.
We're probably, buying 1 pair of shoes for somebody in the family every month.
Yeah.
Right? And then clothes. I mean, that also included maybe, a jersey for athletic club, a little bit more than just regular clothes.
A little bit of merchandise as well.
A little bit, for sure. I found it difficult to find my size of clothes here.
Interesting.
Especially shirts.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I'm in the US, I might do a little bit more shopping and bring it back.
Okay. So pets, 75 euros, 2 guinea pigs and a kitten. So these are recent additions, I get the feeling, or,
The kitten we've had for 3 weeks.
The kitten who's been running around over here.
And she's asleep now.
And the guinea pigs
they're super easy, low maintenance.
We buy a big bag of hay for a few euros.
Yeah.
We buy, the bag of kibble stuff. But
They're really pretty easy, low maintenance, just a little cleanup.
Okay, we've got a couple more items here. Kids, so schools. So 1,116. You've got 2 boys at concertado schools. So for context, there's public schools in Spain, there's private schools in Spain, and in the middle is a concept called concertado, which is like semi-private, right? You pay a little bit, but not as much as you would pay for private. I guess maybe before we get into schools, anything for people moving with kids, and any tips or ideas, or how it's been for you guys, the learning curve.
I think there's also a lot to consider when moving to Basque country.
Okay, language.
Because as you say, the public school called Ikastola is in Basque.
Yeah.
With like a Spanish class for language.
Yeah.
And that's really the majority of the schools here now.
Yeah.
You have private options, which is essentially 4 here. There's American, British, the French, and the German.
And those are quite expensive.
Yeah.
Relatively.
Yeah.
Well,
Still
not like California.
Not like California.
Okay, yeah.
I would say like
I got to remind her, I'm talking to Californians. I'm talking to Americans here. Yeah.
Yeah, but public school's free, but then it's in Basque language.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that if that's what the
that's
kids
a
want.
huge.
But that would have been
thing.
We don't really have that much, I don't think. I think we just have regular public and private. And private school can be quite expensive in America. I went to private school for a few years. In my area, public or private school is, anywhere between $15,000 and $25,000 a year. So that's, probably call it $1,000 to $2,000 a month per person. And they're only paying like $500. So that's a big difference. Plus, they're in another country.
Them organizing the American schools, one of the first things that we had secure and figured out.
It was really the best choice.
Yeah.
The boys have since changed from the American school and are now in a concertado school, which is that semi-private type. This will enable them to be surrounded by more Spanish language.
And how have the kids, sometimes, if you're moving with a 1-year-old, it's one thing, but, from the language perspective, you're moving, 10 and 12-year-old or about there. I don't know. How is that transition language-wise?
Interesting.
A little bumpy.
It's really helped us, I think, work better together because we really had to work on a lot of these things.
Yeah.
I recommend to everyone with kids to read any book about third culture kids.
Okay.
Because it will help you think about those things that you have to think about and strengthening the family bond and really supporting the kids when they may have no one else.
282, the last expense here for storage in California. Something, again, people forget, you've got stuff back there you got to
we
store.
left behind essentially our house full of stuff, into storage and moved to Spain with 11 bags on the airplane. We didn't really want to ship everything because the plan was just a short stay here.
This was going to be temporary.
It was going to be temporary.
Right.
And now we're talking about clearing out the storage to get rid of that expense. And I mean, we don't know yet, but that's the idea right now.
Is there any kind of parting advice you would give to someone considering moving to Spain? Like, what do you wish you knew before you made this move? I don't know, Lindsay, what occurs to you?
I was really scared to do it.
Yeah.
And originally, like Toby said, it was my idea to come here. So wouldn't that be neat?
Yeah.
But then I was like, but that means then I have to make my job and then my family and then my house and this sounds hard.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that we've done it.
Yeah.
I feel good here.
Yeah.
But when Lindsay said, do you want to go abroad? I'm like, let's go. Yeah. It's just my willingness to shake things up.
Yeah.
And I think people have to have that open mindset to be able to change things.
Yeah.
But also just if you have that, then you just enjoy everything.
Yeah.
Even if things are a challenge, right? The first year can be, let's say, tough to get settled, but it's really just new challenges to overcome and to learn from.
Yeah.
And so just having that right mindset and helping the kids have that mindset. Just like, okay, it's another.
Those are American brands. Kit Kat, Kellogg's, Cheerios. Looks like cornflakes, Nesquik. Those are all American. Kellogg's over there is American.
Puzzle to solve.
Yeah.
As I jumped on the train to head back to Madrid, I realized I hadn't asked Toby an important question. You see, the budget of 8,700 euros a month reflects Toby and Lindsay's family size and lifestyle. But I realized a lot of people watching this video may be wondering if it's possible to live in Bilbao for less. So I sent Toby a message to ask him, and here's what he sent me back.
For sure, it's possible to live here on a lower budget. I think this area has a similar cost of living to places like Madrid or Barcelona. We have our lifestyle choices, such as flying to the US twice a year to visit family, putting the kids in a concertado school, going to a personal trainer, and going out often for dinners and social time with friends. Not everyone has these things, and they may have other expenses that we don't. Everyone lives differently, and that's the value of making a budget and evaluating your actual income and expenses. But yeah, in short, you could live in Bilbao for less.
Thank you so much, guys.
Okay.
This has been amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I appreciate you letting me in and, and sharing, being an open book. So thank you so much.
Guys, and so if you want to see more videos like this, I recently made a similar video with a Canadian couple, Debbie and Kevin, who have moved to Nerja in southern Spain, in beautiful Andalusia.
Yeah, I did that. I reviewed that video, so go check that out. I'll put it at the end of this video, a link for it. It's quite a difference in expenses. Of course, this couple has two growing teenage boys that are in private school or semi-private school, and they obviously spend a lot of money on entertainment and stuff. So, it is quite different. And they came from one of the most expensive areas in the country of America. That $2 million house, median household price in California where they live, that Mountain View area, that same house, the same exact house on the same piece of property in another state could literally be $500,000 or $400,000. In some areas in Texas or Oklahoma, it could be $300,000. So, they came from a very expensive area. I'm sure they had a very substantial income, and they spend their money, and more power to them. They're living their life. But check out the other video too, because those people are on a tighter budget. And I actually kind of like the other house better, even though it's not as expensive. It's a little more, I don't know, Spanish feeling to me. Of course, what do I know? I'm American, but go check out the other video. Well, there you go, guys. So if you've got a ton of money and you're American and you live in a very expensive area in America, this is the place to move. But in all seriousness, their expenses went down. I'd be surprised if he even wants to go back to work at that point, or maybe he's just gonna start a little side business or whatever just to keep him busy. But I got a feeling that they came from a pretty substantial income, and they probably don't have to work. They're probably just working to just like another hobby. But yeah, if you cut out, trips to America, you cut out the private school, if your children are grown or you don't have any children, that alone is what? $1,500, $2,000 a month savings off of what they're spending. You knock, $1,000 a month eating out to 500 euros a month. There's another 6,000 a year. So, not criticism at all. It's their money. They can spend it how they want. But yeah, it doesn't cost you 10,000 euros to live here, apparently. And obviously they have one of the nicer apartments. So check out the other video. You can compare somebody living on less than half as much in Spain as well. And like I said, I think I like the other place a little bit better. Of course, I don't know the, the neighborhoods or any of that stuff, but that's all I got for that. If you're new to my channel, it's anything and everything that interests me as an average middle-aged American. We focus mostly on learning about other countries and other cultures. Wife and I are going to do a lot of traveling in the future. When we go into retirement, and we're just trying to learn as much as we can about countries and cultures around the world. We haven't traveled much outside of America, the Caribbean, Canada, and Mexico. So we plan on doing that, and we don't want to go into it blind. And that's that. Got a bunch of videos by now. Got over 1,000 subscribers. Thrilled to death about that. Leave some comments. Get any constructive criticism. I'm willing to listen to anything. I read every single comment. I even reply to many of them. And I appreciate all of you. Take care.